Yo, what is up everybody, Jet again. Welcome back to another Naruto reaction video here today. And today we are looking at yet another explaining video of the great Swagkage, and as you can tell by the title, that is explaining the Mangekyo Sharingan. So folks, the Mangekyo Sharingan might be perhaps my very favorite jutsu in the entire Naruto verse. It is, of course, a Kekkei Genkai Dojutsu unique only to the Uchiha clan. I like the aesthetics behind it, I like the idea of it, and I really like how the writers incorporated it into the show, giving it to some of the most amazing and most powerful characters in the entire Naruto history. I'm talking about Madara, Itachi, Sasuke, Obito, etc. And I really like the fact that each Uchiha member that awakens it has his or her own unique ability. I really like that. It's just overall very, very amazing jutsu, and I can't wait to see what Swag has to say about this one. And before we begin, any let's really appreciate it. Hit that like button, turn on bell notifications to stay updated with yours truly. And if you're new and you enjoy and you mess with the kid, make sure to hit that sub button, man. I want you to become part of the family forever. But let's not waste any more time, screen. Let's see what Swag says today.
The Mangekyo is one of the most interesting abilities in the Naruto universe, due entirely to the fact that the abilities it grants differ from person to person. When it first appeared in chapter 142 of the Naruto manga, the Mangekyo Sharingan was shown to be incredibly powerful, capable of leaving Kakashi in critical condition in just a couple of seconds. Next to nothing was explained about the Mangekyo Sharingan for quite a while after its first appearance, save its incredible power and Itachi's inability to use it repeatedly without consequence. As a matter of fact, the actual design of the Mangekyo Sharingan didn't even appear until an entire arc later in chapter 224, while Sasuke was busy recalling everything that had led up to the massacre of the Uchiha clan. It was later explained in the same series of flashbacks that the Mangekyo can only be awakened by killing one's best friend, though it was later clarified that, as with the base Sharingan, the Mangekyo can be awakened through trauma or stress of any kind.
Correct.
The name of the Mangekyo Sharingan translates to kaleidoscopic copy wheel eye, likely in reference to its appearance, as opposed to the regular Sharingan, which for the most part still resembles a regular eyeball. A Mangekyo Sharingan tends to merge the iris and pupil into some sort of pinwheel shape. While the iris still remains red and the pupil still remains black, both sort of intertwine, leading the black portion of the eye to form in the shape of a pinwheel. It's a bit difficult to put into words, but I think you'll get what I mean if I just show you some examples. As you can see here, the design of the Mangekyo Sharingan differs from person to person, though they tend to follow the general pinwheel trend that I mentioned earlier. There are a few filler-only designs that look really exotic, leading them to break the whole pinwheel pattern, but they are, well, filler-only, so I won't count them.
True.
But anyway, as I mentioned earlier, the difference between various Mangekyo Sharingan is more than just cosmetic. Different Mangekyo possess different abilities as well. While all of these abilities are vision-based, that is to say they are all connected to the user's vision in some way, they still differ quite drastically from one another. In some cases, the abilities of both a person's Mangekyo will be linked with one another, as is the case with characters like Sasuke and Obito, though in other cases, a person will have two completely distinct abilities that have more or less no correlation with one another, as is the case with Itachi.
Correct.
Regardless of what the abilities are, the jutsu granted by the Mangekyo Sharingan tend to be incredibly powerful. Itachi possesses a Materasu, an inextinguishable black flame ignited at the user's focal point, and Tsukuyomi, one of the most powerful genjutsu in the entire series, capable of altering the victim's perception of time and dishing out unreal amounts of pain. Obito possesses Kamui in both eyes, though each eye's ability differs. The left eye allows him to teleport faraway objects into his pocket dimension so long as that object remains within his focal point, and his right eye allows him to teleport his own body or objects within close range into the same pocket dimension. With it, he can phase through matter by teleporting parts of his body into the dimension, or trap people and objects in the dimension and eject them at a later time. There are plenty more examples of super powerful abilities granted by the Mangekyo Sharingan, but I think you get the idea by now. Also, as is the case with the base Sharingan, it is possible for non-Uchiha to use the Mangekyo Sharingan. Again, Kakashi's done it, but this can only be done by evolving a previously transplanted Sharingan or by transplanting another Mangekyo Sharingan. Both have been done before, as Kakashi evolved a previously transplanted Sharingan into the Mangekyo, and Danzo just transplanted a Sharingan that had already evolved into the Mangekyo Sharingan from Shisui Uchiha. Additionally, as is the case with the base Sharingan, non-Uchiha will suffer a much higher chakra cost to use the abilities of the Mangekyo Sharingan, though it seems that with training this cost can be reduced. One ability that is shared across all who possess the Mangekyo Sharingan is the Susanoo, a giant ethereal samurai thing capable of absolutely devastating enemies. The Susanoo can only be used once an Uchiha has unlocked the powers of the Mangekyo Sharingan in both of their eyes, but gaining the Susanoo is well worth the effort. This thing is massive, and once it evolves into its full body form, it is capable of completely devastating most shinobi in the Naruto universe through sheer power alone and with minimal effort. With
Definitely.
a half-body Susanoo, Itachi managed to tank Kirin, a jutsu powerful enough to completely demolish the entire Uchiha hideout. As is the case with the Mangekyo Sharingan itself, the appearance of the Susanoo differs from person to person in both shape and color. Itachi's is red, Sasuke's is purple, Madara's is blue, Shisui's is green, etc. One side note about the Susanoo is that it doesn't seem to be necessary for the user's Sharingan to be active when the Susanoo is used. Itachi used it without even the base Sharingan still active, and Madara used the Susanoo with both of his eyes missing. As you'd expect, these abilities generally take a lot of chakra to perform, but additionally, repeated use of the Mangekyo's powers will dull the sight and potency of the user's eyes until eventually they go blind and lose their Sharingan entirely. Sasuke, Itachi, and Madara eventually all suffered from this blindness, though Sasuke reached this point much faster due to how frequently he used Amaterasu and Susanoo together against the 5 Kage. Luckily, there is a workaround for this in the form of the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, the absolute pinnacle of the Uchiha's mighty dojutsu. The Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is what it sounds like, a breed of the Mangekyo that lasts forever. Unlike the base Mangekyo Sharingan, repeated use of the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan will not result in blindness, although it still costs chakra to use the Mangekyo's techniques. Additionally, evolving the Sharingan into the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan seems to increase the finesse and power of the Mangekyo's techniques. The Susanoo
definitely appears that way, yeah.
Before I get into that, let me take a brief moment to explain how the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is acquired. The process is pretty simple. All you've got to do is swap out your Mangekyo Sharingan with somebody else's. Granted, the exchange needs to be done between 2 Uchiha with strong blood ties, ideally 2 siblings, and additionally, progressing the Mangekyo Sharingan into an Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan may only be possible if the person receiving the transplant has already blinded themselves. I'm not sure about that, but that's been the case with both characters who have unlocked Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, so it's possible. Regardless, once the transplant is complete, the person on the receiving end will evolve their eyes into the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan without losing access to any of their previous abilities. Additionally, the designs of the original Mangekyo Sharingan will be merged with that of the eyes that were transplanted, though this does not grant the owner of the Sharingan access to any new abilities. Sasuke didn't gain access to Tsukuyomi, and Madara didn't gain access to any of Izuna's techniques, whatever those may have been. Also, it's worth noting that the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is incredibly rare, as Sasuke and Madara are the only 2 characters seen with the ability, like, ever. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying earlier, having the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan doesn't really grant a person any extra abilities. Instead, it just makes their existing abilities more powerful and takes away their previous restrictions. While Sasuke's Amaterasu didn't seem to get buffed too heavily by the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, the Susanoo seems to receive quite a boost in strength. Now, granted, Kakashi and Indra have both used the perfect Susanoo without access to the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan.
Good point.
But, well, Indra's a special case since he's the son of the Sage of 6 Paths, and Kakashi,
fair enough.
Well, he got access to his perfect Susanoo through some really weird spirit transfer process, so I don't know if that counts.
Those are special cases, I suppose.
In Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, Itachi and Shisui have perfect Susanoo, and they don't have Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but that's a game, so I don't know if it counts either, but okay, regardless of the requirements to do so, evolving the Susanoo is possible, and I actually think it's something that I should touch on. When first used, the Susanoo takes a skeletal form, and only parts of its body, namely its ribcage and arms, will appear when called forth. Through continuous use of the Susanoo, the user can eventually manifest an entire skeletal upper body, which they can further evolve into a humanoid form complete with flesh, clothing, and a unique weapon. In most cases, the final evolution of the Susanoo that can be reached with the base Mangekyo Sharingan is the Armored Susanoo, which is, as it sounds, Susanoo clad in unique armor that heavily reinforces its defenses. With the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Madara and Sasuke managed to progress their Susanoo even further by manifesting a lower body that grants the Susanoo an incredible boost in mobility. Like, now it can jump around with legs and stuff.
That's ridiculous.
It doesn't end there, though, as the final stage of the Susanoo is the Stabilized Perfect Susanoo, or, as the 4th data book calls it, the Complete Body Susanoo. The power of the Complete Body Susanoo is allegedly comparable to that of the Tailed Beasts, making it one of the highest level techniques in Naruto. Madara effortlessly shattered mountains with the shockwaves his perfect Susanoo created, and Sasuke has managed to slash through planetoids with ease. Again, I'm a little unsure how the perfect Susanoo is acquired, but I think in most cases it is only accessible through the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Could be wrong though. There is a bit more to the Sharingan than all of this, but because of how personalized its abilities tend to be, covering everything would take a really long time, so I think this is where I'm going to end off. If not for the fact that it could be its own video topic, I would speak about the Rinnegan here, but all I'll say about it here is that the Rinnegan is an evolution of the Sharingan and the most powerful dojutsu in the world of Naruto. If enough of you guys want me to, I'll gladly cover it in a future video, but for now, I'll leave you with this. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video, and
Great video, Swag. As always, great video.
Swagkage out.
Peace. Alright, folks, there you guys have it. That was a great video, as always. And now to give my 2 cents on the Mangekyo Sharingan. Alright. So he pointed out a couple good things, right? The fact that they have a Susanoo, which is amazing. And it is unclear whether they could use full body Susanoo without EMS, right? Video games, I don't really count them. They're more not official, in my opinion, right? Video games are video games. As far as the anime / manga, we really don't see a Mangekyo Sharingan user awaken a full body Susanoo. Maybe if Itachi was healthy, he could have. He was like on death's door when he was fighting Sasuke, and he awakened it to protect himself from Kirin. So maybe it can be implied that if he was in his prime, he could have possibly awakened a full body Susanoo, but that cannot be 100% confirmed nor denied. So I'm not going to go out and say that's a fact. Maybe it's a possibility, maybe. But what is a fact is if you have EMS, you can awaken a full body Susanoo. That we do know from Sasuke doing it and from Madara doing it. So if you have those attained, you are able to awaken the full body Susanoo, right? And I also like the small observation he made about some Uchihas having the same ability in both eyes and some having different abilities in each eye. Like Itachi, he does have different abilities. Amaterasu in one eye, Tsukuyomi in the other. If I was an Uchiha, I'd rather have different abilities, right? The more abilities, the better. But overall, the Mangekyo Sharingan is definitely one of the most powerful Kekkei Genkai dojutsus in the entire Naruto verse. And as far as it being weaker or stronger than the Rinnegan, I mean, the Rinnegan has more hacks abilities, so to speak, right? But the Tsukuyomi in particular, which is Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan ability, is quite OP. It allows you to control space and time in its entirety of anyone caught in your Genjutsu. That's pretty fucking powerful in my opinion, right? Now the Rinnegan has some pretty amazing abilities as well, right? It can rip your soul out. It can do the Shinder Tensei, right? Chibaku Tensei, things like that. I think it has more tools at its disposal compared to a Mangekyo Sharingan, right? You can do many things with the Rinnegan. If you just go based off what Pain was able to do, Nagato more particularly, he was able to do some quite spectacular things, right? Use dead bodies as vessels, first of all, which is ridiculous. You can have your little army like he did with the 6 Pains and split your abilities amongst them, right? So thinking about it, yeah, it probably is more powerful, I guess you can say, right? But the Tsukuyomi, the Kamui, those are some fucking amazing abilities. They're not, I mean, I guess you could call the Tsukuyomi powerful, right? Because of what it's able to accomplish. The Kamui is more of a hacks ability. It's not like, oh shit, that's powerful. That's more of a hacks ability, a very useful ability to use in battle, especially when you have the reaction times to compete with other high-speed opponents like Bakenobito. He was competing with KCM Naruto for a second, right? Until Kakashi figured out that he could use his eye to counter Obito's. Point is, the Mangekyo Sharingan is definitely in the upper tier as far as jutsus are concerned, right? Even later on in Naruto and Boruto, you see what Sasuke's able to do, right? I mean, he's a special case because he also has a Rinnegan, excuse me. So, but his perception is very high, right? He's a very powerful Uchiha, the most powerful Uchiha. And overall, I just think the Mangekyo Sharingan is just a very, very well done and well thought out jutsu. I think the idea was well done, right? The idea was a good idea. The way it was executed throughout the storyline of Naruto was perfect. I mean, right, we first see Sharingans, and then we see Mangekyous, and then we see EMS. Like, spectacular work by the writers on their part when it comes to that. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. This was a shorter video, but, you know, I really wanted to react to it, and Mangekyo Sharingan will always be goated in my eyes, and I'm sure in the eyes of many of you guys. So let me know what your thoughts are on the Mangekyo Sharingan. There is more explaining videos by Swag. There's one where he talks about the Sharingan, not Mangekyo, but Sharingan. Let me know if you want to see that, or any other explaining videos they might have. Or shit, any video you want to see. Please let me know in the comments. I always appreciate your recommendations, and I appreciate you guys for all the support. We're almost to 2K, by the way, folks, so make sure to hit that sub button if you haven't already. I don't really say that much, but 2K for me, personally, is a huge goal to accomplish. Hopefully by the end of the year we can get it done. I'm not the type to keep talking about it, but this is the only video I'm gonna talk about it. So make sure to let's get us to 2K. Let's get that family to 2K. The family's strong. Let's just build it now. But yeah, guys, I appreciate all the support, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's Jelly Guy signing out. Peace.